Hi guys, hope you're having an amazing day. I'm here in Montego Bay, Jamaica, and was guided to send an energy update with all the messages I've been receiving from my guides this past month. And as most of you have experienced this directly, um, September has been a very, very intense month. So for myself, it's been for both Eldera and myself, we've been just taking a lot of time to recalibrate in nature, and that's one of the reasons we decided to get away for a week in this beautiful sunny destination. As you can see, we're surrounded by lots of nature, and the beach is just steps away, and getting a lot of healing. The energy of the sun is intense around here. So we've been getting lots of rest, but at the same time getting lots of galactic codes being embodied in our DNA, and just fully integrating it all in nature. Feels very, very blissful to be here and feel totally blessed to be surrounded by such beauty. And which brings me to some of the things that have been happening energetically around us. The galactic center is just going intense right now with all the blueprints, activations, DNA codes, light codes, upgrades, ascension codes. Every single particle, every single human being, plant kingdom, animal kingdom included, every single particle of earth is being upgraded right now. And wherever you are in your spiritual journey, you're going to be feeling it in one way or another. And it's a time where we're nearing the end of the year 2019. And this year has just been an intense growth phase, as well as finishing of old loops and old timelines. So the energy of September and the energy for the next 3 months will pretty much look like closing out old loops and also integrating all the new energy codes that are being sent to us. And specifically from September 10th all the way to September 19th, it was one wave after another. And that was in numerology. I'll put this up in my video, but in numerology, it's basically the date codes were like 9, 10, 19. So it's a week of palindromes, which means the date is read forward and backwards pretty much the same. So from a numerological perspective, what that means is we were freeing ourselves from outdated belief systems. We were activating new beginnings, new opportunities. And it's a time where we're being asked to trust our intuition more and just reconnect with our inner guidance and just allow things to unfold naturally. And that's one of the things we've been experiencing, is that the more we get into these 5D timelines, we're being asked to let go. We're being asked to let go of questions. We're being asked to let go of our logical mind and just accept things in a state of grace and surrender, and really ease into the flow of life and trust and surrender that the universe has a plan for you. So the more we let go, the more we ease into life, the more we synchronize ourselves with the guidance, it's gonna get easier and easier. And the process is really up to us. When we begin to trust our intuition, at first things seem very difficult because it asks us to let go of things that have been done a certain way in a certain pattern all of our lives. However, when we make those shifts and changes, and when we let go of all the 3D constructs in our life that were not making sense or were holding us back in some way, whether that was a relationship, a job, or a life circumstance, or your relationship with money, all of these things, your relationship with your health, with your body, when we start start trimming all the excess out of our life, or all the things that were not serving our highest good and keeping us small, um, by and by life gets so blissful. And um, I wish for everyone to experience this state of ease and state of flow, where you completely surrender and realize how blissful life is, how easy life can be when we completely surrender. And that's what's happening energetically in a big way right now, as Saturn and Jupiter just went direct between August 12th and September 19th. And we were receiving like full-on plasma light influxes, and a lot of light codes are being released to seal the timelines. So energetically, where you are right now is where what's going to be anchored for the next little while. It means that if you're still if you're still in a place where you're playing the old stories and not letting go of things you know in your heart that you need to let go of, but you're just resisting, then unfortunately that pattern is going to be sealed into your life until you get it. And unfortunately, sometimes that means when we don't listen to our messages, then the messages come back in a stronger way until they really grab our attention. So my advice would be, when you see a repeating pattern in your life coming up, when you see abuse coming up in your life, when you see you're not being treated with the respect you deserve, or when you see that a situation, or a piece of your life that is not aligning with your highest joy, and you have to let go of, just go with the flow, and make the changes that are necessary, because the easier you move with the flow of the energy and what's being asked of you, it's going to become easier and easier. So let go of all remaining resistance, because we're already in 2020 energy. And 2020 energy is not joking around, it's not messing around. It's going to ask everything off us, and it's going to ask us to be in our highest state of ease and flow. So the main message is, don't go back into the past. If you've let go of an old relationship, don't. You may feel the urge to revisit it, or give it one more chance and see whether it's meant for you or not. But whenever you see the pattern of wanting to revisit the past, know that it's your ego and it's not your higher self. Your ego wants to go to what's familiar to you, and what's known territory. And the higher self is always going to lead you into new and exciting avenues, but it's not. It can be a bit disconcerting at first, because you're really plunging into the unknown. But embrace that, and you'll begin to see the beauty of the grand design, the grand plan of your life. So, made a few notes here. I'm just gonna go. Yeah. So one of the message I was receiving is clearly, let let love guide your life. Be as loving and heart-centered as possible, because at the end of the day, it's all about love. It's all about how we treat each other. It's all about the impressions we leave on people when we touch each other's lives. And we're done with the old, we're done with the narcissistic templates, we're done with the abuse cycles, we're done with anything um, that's not aligning with divinity. And as we're embracing our highest divinity, our higher selves, as we're embracing our true spiritual nature, we are becoming more in tune with the rhythm of our hearts. And that means any any interaction in your life that you come across, whether it's with your family, whether it's with your friends, whether it's with your coworkers, treat it with the utmost respect and love, how you would want others to treat you. Even when there's disagreements, we have a choice, whether whether we lash out at someone in a state of emotional turmoil, or whether we distance ourselves from that turmoil in the heat of the situation, we distance ourselves from it, we recalibrate, we process the messages, and we present ourselves in a dignified manner, with humility, with mutual respect and love. And at this point, our guides, our angels, are asking us to be fully heart centered in our integrity. So, for example, if you are still projecting guilt at somebody, if you're still projecting guilt, that's a manipulation energy. So we're being asked to analyze our thoughts, words, and actions on a micro scale, and analyze every aspect of your life and see where you're out of alignment. Because if you're attracting negative situations, it's just a reflection of what's remaining to be resolved within you. I'll let this plane pass by. So yeah, manipulation energy is a big one. It's coming up in my life, at least. I've seen where there were certain relationships in my life that were constantly using manipulation to get what they needed from me, and I just put out very strict boundaries against that. I honored myself, and I reaffirmed my commitment to myself that I will hold myself to the highest standards and look at myself under a microscope and ensure that I have removed all manipulation and guilt from my field. And at the same time, on the other side of the coin, it becomes more and more visible when others are using that force against you. So when you're not carrying those forces within you, it becomes impossible for others to use those forces to get what they want out of you. So right now we're in a training phase. We're being groomed to receive our higher selves. And for the next little while, we're being asked to really get out of our slumber and go into training mode. And that means being on top of our physical exercise, being on top of our diet, being meticulous in our thoughts, words, deeds, and actions, being as heart-centered and pure and true to ourselves as possible. And this is all in preparation for 2020. These energies that are coming towards us are going to be extremely intense. There's going to be a lot of turmoil that's going to show up in the world in general. It may not be turmoil in individual lives. However, for those who have not, for those who are resisting the work, or for those who are putting off what needs to be done, it is going to be resulting in turmoil in your life, and things that need to be cleared out of your life will be cleared out one way or another. So being in tune with our messages is of utmost importance. Our Merkabas are right now being activated. A lot of light workers will feel that as a buzzing in the heart. And the more time we spend in the sun, we are going to be receiving the light codes to get our Merkabas activated. And our Merkaba, what it stands for in Merkaba, it's our light body, it's our chariot of light. And the Mer stands for the light. It's the vehicle of light that rotates on itself. The Ka represents the human spirit, and Ba represents the human body. So the Merkaba together, it's two pyramids, one pointing upwards, one pointing downwards, that totally encompass your aura, and they're spinning in a clockwise, anti-clockwise pattern. And the Merkaba, when it activates, is one of the most powerful spiritual phenomenon you can ever experience. It really connects you with your higher self, with your higher guidance. It can be used as a vehicle for astral travel. You can, in your dream state or sometimes even in your physical state, travel to outer space, travel to other stars, visit spaceships. And a lot of light workers have been experiencing these these dreams of heightened awareness, where we realize that we were out of our body and in a different place. And I recently experienced this as being teleported into a mothership and looking down on Earth, and it was one of the most beautiful experiences I've had. Um, I have had experiences with spaceships as well, like viewing spaceships in the physical form. And if you look at my profile page from a few months back in June, I posted a video of such an encounter. So more and more of us are getting connected as our Merkabas are activating. We're getting connected with our light families, and that means that we're going to be activating a lot of our spiritual gifts. So there's a lot of gifts that are waiting for us to claim them. And in order to claim those gifts, we have to really clear out the old stuff, all the karmic patterns, all the abuse patterns, the manipulation patterns, if you're using guilt. All of these lower frequencies are ingrained in us from society from a very young age to keep us playing small. So when we clear out the lower frequencies and bring our heart resonance, and we're vibrating love, gratitude, and peace on a dominant on a dominant scale. Like I'm saying, you're not going to be perfect all the time, but if most of your time you're in a state of peace, happiness, joy, excitement, bliss, and it's not these are things that you control. These are not controlled by your environment. It doesn't mean that if you're if such and such happens, only then you'll feel peaceful. Peace is a choice that you make. Peace is a choice that you create through your intentions. So for myself, that means every single day I wake up and I do a gratitude meditation in my heart. And that changes any negative state that I might be feeling that morning, and it changes it into automatically into a state of gratitude. When we're criticizing other people, when we're finding ourselves criticizing others or arguing with others, it's mostly a case of our ego being flared up. So we can change that situation by really asking us ourselves, um, what what about this situation is triggering something inside of me. Um, for example, if you have a family member and they're not picking up after themselves, what about that is, let's say, for example, if that bothers you, what about that bothers you? Maybe you're not giving yourself permission be be unkept. Maybe you're not giving yourself permission to be a brat sometime. Maybe you've been told from a young age that you're not a good boy or a good girl if you don't clean up your room. So when you see others, you're judging them with the same set of rules that was projected on you. So it always goes back to you. So in any situation, before you start projecting guilt, or before you start projecting judgment towards another, or acting irritated with other people, just automatically know. Create a switch inside your mind that says, next time I feel judgment towards another, I'm going to pause and I'm going to start to reflect within, why is this bothering me? What limiting beliefs do I need to let go of? It doesn't mean let others walk all over you with their tardiness or with their uncleanliness. There are certain things that we need to do in order to respect each other's boundaries and space when we're living in the same home. However, we can approach this with a sense of love towards each other rather than criticism, negativity, and judgment. And this especially plays a very important role when we're raising our children, because children are like flowers. They bloom when you send them positivity and encouragement. So try this as a technique. Instead of lashing out at someone when they irritate you, um, first of all, analyze why that might be bothering you. And second of all, look into using encouragement instead of criticism to lift each other up, lift up your children, or lift up your spouse or your family members, whoever it might be. Use encouragement. Use and don't be fake about it. Just look at the highest version of people around you and bring out that version by giving them honest feedback about what it is that you admire about them. That to me creates more bonds. That to me creates more unities, and I've seen miracles take place with those around me, because when we're looking at the highest aspect of each other, we're activating each other on a subconscious level, and it is an extremely powerful tool. When we're using criticism instead of encouragement, we're really just creating more and more blocks that they're going to need healing from, and that's not what we need more of right now. So we really need to step back and see the highest version of each other. So the fifth dimension is a state of consciousness where we're completely embodying our intuition, and we're completely letting go of our ego mind. Um, if you're feeling like you're in a state of cynicism or skepticism, and you're looking for proof that um, that's if you're looking for proof relating to spiritual concepts, then you're still in your mind. If you're trying to understand and comprehend everything logically, you're not going to get it. So, um, going into the fifth dimensional consciousness is really a state of surrender, and it's a state where we are comprehending things with our heart's mind, and that's a huge topic in its own. So as our hearts get activated, we become more at ease. We become more in a state of uh, knowing, and in that state of knowing, it's funny, you don't have the need to ask questions anymore, because you're in a state of surrender, and you fully, on a soul level, embody that the universe has a plan for you, that your higher self has a plan for you, and you fully surrender to that plan, and you know that you cannot be misguided. And from that state, even the most difficult decisions seem easy, because if you ask your mind the guidance you're getting, your mind will not be able to comprehend it. But if you look within your heart will be at peace if you ask about a certain question, about certain guidance that you're getting. So follow your heart, not your mind. That's the clear message here. Another one is another huge thing that's coming out to be cleared in the collective is comparison and jealousy. So these are things that are really holding us back on a big level. A lot of us are still stuck in the realm where we're comparing our lives to other people's lives, and we're still stuck in the emotions of jealousy and envy, and also we're in a state where, instead of having gratitude for all the blessings that we have in our lives, we're in a state of feeling unworthy, that we don't have enough, that we don't have what others have. And that's going to block you big time from manifesting what it is that you desire. So, being in a state of gratitude is not just it's not just a concept that somebody wrote in a book and it's the right thing to do. I myself personally have experienced that when I'm constantly in a genuine state of gratitude, I'm able to appreciate life so much more. if I'm constantly questioning everything, how could this be better, or why did I get this and that other person got something better, um, I'm denying the gifts that the universe has already placed in front of me. So, one thing that uh, the universal laws dictate is that if you're not in a state of gratitude, if you're not appreciating what you have already been given, then why should you get more? Why should you're not ready to receive more, because you're not even going to be able to. You're not going to be in a space to receive what is in store for you, because your lens is constantly focused outwards. Your mind is extremely clever, and it's going to help you. It's going to pinpoint all the things that are not right in your life. But if you go in your heart, you go into a state of bliss and ease, and you go into a state of gratitude, that's when you realize that you have so many blessings to be thankful for. So going into a state of gratitude is a huge one that we constantly need to practice and fill our lives with complete surrender, with complete um, gratitude for everything that we have received so far. And that's what opens the floodgates for more. So I had a friend who was actually they were they were holding on so tightly to they had created this yoga modality that they thought would it was very unique and nobody else was doing it. However, they were holding on to it so tightly that they did not want to share it with the world, because the fear was, if I share it with the world, others will copy it. So that's another way of letting your ego mind control you, because the ego is always afraid of losing things. Um, so the fear was, if I create this yoga class and my unique modality and I offer this to the world, then others will catch on and they will copy my technique and offer it to others, and I will not benefit from that. So I wanted to touch on that. I found that very interesting, because in 5D, the model is completely different. In 5D, the model is, if I win, you win. And um, and for example, I'm giving certain messages for my guides, and I feel like sharing them because I feel they might benefit one person, or they might benefit 100 people or 1,000 people. I don't care. Even if it benefits nobody, it's fine. If it benefits one person, it's fine. I'm doing this because this is my highest joy, and I have no expectations in return other than your gratitude and love, if that's what you feel. And if I were to hold back these messages and say, well, I'm not benefiting from it, why should I share it? Why wouldn't I package it as a course and sell it as an online course where I can make some money? But see, I was in that place last year. I'm not in that place anymore, because now I'm in a place where the universe is supporting me um, to the fullest extent, because I've let go of all expectations. I've let go of needing anything back, and I'm in a place where I want to share all my gifts, and it's my highest joy if somebody else shares those messages with others. It's my highest joy. I don't even need credit for the messages. If you learn something from this message and you share it with others with the intention of helping the world, I'll be happy. There's people in the spiritual community who are still in the 3D, 4D paradigm of copywriting their work and wanting credit for everything. I'm not judging that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. But I am saying that in 5D, in the new reality, in New Earth, everything is free. Everything is available for everybody. And there is no copyright. Everything is open source. And the more we share, the more we uplift each other with no expectations, we're, we're, um, we're going to be dissolving all the borders. We're going to be dissolving all the boundaries. When we talk about ownership and copyrights and putting our name stamp on everything that we create, and we're kind of hoarding information in that state. And that's a very old construct that's no longer applicable in 5D. So be open with your sharing, be open with your gifts, be open with helping others with no expectation in return. And you will see miracles take place when you shift into that paradigm. All the floodgates of abundance from the universe will open up to you, because the universe wants to see people who are genuinely holding love, unconditional love for each other and themselves in their heart. And when you are vibrating that frequency, you're the universe has your back. So you're taken care of in ways beyond your imagination. And it may happen that you're compensated for your work from a completely different source of income that's not even related to the work you're doing. Or you may be receiving abundance from a source that you cannot even comprehend at this time. But that's exactly how it works. The universe just has your back, and it provides for every single need that you might possibly have if you're doing divine service and divine work. So having said that, I'm going to wrap up this message, and I'm sending so much love out to everybody from Montego Bay, Jamaica, and hope to connect with you guys soon. Much love.